Yeah. Help me compose myself and join with me in the prayer preparation for the service of the Lord. Eternal God, in the reading and hearing of the Christmas Gospel, may these familiar words open our hearts and touch our lives with your immeasurable love. The birth narrative continues in Luke's Gospel, 2nd chapter, fulfilling the words that the angel Gabriel had said to Mary. Did it really begin with surprise? The fulfillment of the birth of Jesus. It's recorded in these words. In those days, a decree went out from Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration, and was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. All went to their own towns to be registered. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and family of David. He went to be registered there with Mary, to whom he was engaged and who was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for her to deliver her child, and she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in bands of cloth, and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn. This is the story of the birth of Jesus. Thanks be to God for the gift of it and the gift of him to us. Amen. He absolutely did not want to be a shepherd or an angel. Not a lamb, nor a cow, nor donkey, nor camel either. He wanted to be a dinosaur in the Christmas pageant, like he had been at Halloween. So he already had his costume, and he loved being a dinosaur. And though his grandfather had tried to gently explain that he didn't recall there having been any dinosaurs at the manger when Jesus was born, a 2-year-old child couldn't quite grasp why not. True, his grandfather was a long-time pastor and had seen any number of improbable attendees at those annual precious pageants recreating the birth of Jesus. Shepherds especially were often draped in bathrobes with Superman or Batman or SpongeBob or Elmo. And once in a while there might be a dog costume or an angel struggling to keep its wings on straight, but never a dinosaur. Jonah, Grampy doesn't think there were dinosaurs at the time Jesus was born in the manger in Bethlehem, said he tenderly. To which came the obvious reply, why not? And what's a manger anyway? Two good questions, and both deserve good answers from Reverend Grampy. A manger is a place where hay can be loaded for the cow to eat or the sheep, usually inside a barn that also gives shelter and warmth to the animals. In the Bible, we read that Jesus was born in a manger. And as for there being no dinosaurs present, they had gone extinct. Which, of course, as soon as the word came out of his mouth, the pastor knew his grandson wouldn't understand it. Regardless, Jonah stayed the course. Well, said he, now there can be a cow and a dinosaur. Right, Grampy? Well, what's a grandfather to say? What harm could there be? Maybe no one would realize that he was in a dinosaur costume and he'd just blend in with the cow and sheep and shepherds and angels and all. One very small and happy dinosaur, what harm? Grampy was also a little reassured that Jonah hadn't learned to make scary dinosaur sounds, though his parents had tried teaching him to do so back when he was out trick-or-treating. He didn't want to roar, just sweetly smile, accept the candy, move to the next house. So, as the night of the Christmas pageant approached, Jonah was getting pretty excited about being able to take part, and maybe more so, get dressed up in his treasured dinosaur costume again. His grandfather would take him and try to keep him pretty inconspicuous. And what with all the other children intent on their roles and costumes in the pageant, they wouldn't pay much attention to one small dinosaur in their midst, right? Christmas Eve arrived. The service began, quickly moving to the recreation of the story of Jesus' birth for everybody to see. First, Mary and Joseph, and you know the line, there's no room in the inn, but you're welcome to stay in the stable. Then came the shepherds who had been out watching over their flocks by night, who also came with them, their flocks. Next, the angels came and gathered all around. Nothing could be sweeter. And it wasn't until that very moment that the grandfather minister realized that he wasn't just sure when to send his grandson Jonah the dinosaur into the sea. "When do I go up, Grampy?" he loudly inquired, and heads turned. Things had been moving along rapidly to the point that the three kings were about to make their grand entrance right down the center aisle of the church. Grandfather figured that all eyes would be on them and the singing of We Three Kings as they came. This would be a perfect time to escort one cute little harmless dinosaur down the side aisle, up next to the flock of quiet, though a little itchy sheep. Guessing it, aren't you? Apparently, the approach of the kings did not compare with the silent, sneaky approach of the minister and a what? A dinosaur? And a dinosaur that suddenly unleashed a blood-curdling roar. The sheep began to scream and look for cover. The angels began running and the other animals looked petrified. And that once cute little dinosaur suddenly looked ravenous and emitted yet another roar. No one was paying any attention to the arrival of the royals with their handsomely wrapped gifts, nor was anyone singing We Three Kings anymore. Now, fortunately, the child portraying Joseph this year sort of took charge. He stood, looked at the dinosaur-dressed intruder, put his finger to his lips, and said, "Shh, the baby Jesus is asleep. We're glad you've come to adore him too, but we have to be quiet." A holy hush fell over everyone, and the little dinosaur dropped to his knees. Joseph began singing softly, "Oh, come all ye faithful," with an emphasis on the all. Soothed now by what was happening, the dinosaur child kept kneeling. cold as his hands, and all the shepherds and sheep, angels and animals, every child did the same. To this day, people who were there still speak of the pageant when a dinosaur came to kneel before the newborn Jesus and the wonder of it all. Because it's true, isn't it? His birth was truly intended for the good of all of God's children and creatures, even one cute little